Let's move back to the 14th century, to the year 1312. But if this is your first time here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. By doing so, you help keep Rwandan heritage alive and strong. It's not just our culture, it's Africa's legacy that we carry forward together. Your support means the world to us and to the African community as a whole. We're relying on each one of you to honor our past, inspire future generations, and ensure that the beauty of our history and culture never fades away. So, hit that button. Back to our story.
When Soldier fought Samukondo,
Gave the throne, as Rwandan referred to a dead king. His son Bwimba ascended to the throne, taking the name
Ruganzu I.
At his reign, he had two capitals,
One at Gasabo in Bwanacyambwe
and the other
in Tanda ya Ruzizi in north of Uganda.
On his crowning ceremony, Kimenyi I, king of Gisaka, sent many offerings to him. The Queen Mother,
Ruganzu I Nyakanga, and his brother Murukumbi.
After some days, Kimenyi sent his servants to ask for Robwa, Ruganzu's sister, to marry him. But only Ruganzu knew the prophecy of his father to never marry her to Kimenyi, because it would lead Rwanda to be conquered by Gisaka.
Nuko Kimenyi sought the hand of Robwa in marriage. But Ruganzu hesitated, for he alone knew what would that cause. But Nyakanga and his brother Murukumbi pressed him to accept the union. Nyakanga declared,
If God wills it, my children will rule both Gisaka and Rwanda. Robwa, however, was no ordinary woman. She assured her brother,
I will not bear a king who will conquer Rwanda. Let me marry Kimenyi. You remain calm and watch.
The marriage was agreed upon, but Ruganzu and his Abiru, royal advisors, knew the stakes. They prepared for the protection of the kingdom known as
Ubutabazi,
which would take place once Robwa got pregnant. As I have explained it in the previous video, you can watch it above there.
Umutabazi or Abatabazi in plural,
Which is translated to guardian or protector, were warriors who set out into land of enemy, not win, but to die as a sacrifice. It was said that they cursed the land they die on, embarking a winning spirit to Rwandan kingdom, and it worked. For Robwa was now its sole guardian. When Robwa announced her pregnancy, Ruganzu and his royal advisors set out seeking a guardian to assist Robwa, as she was a woman and the sole protector of the kingdom. But there was none to be found, because to become a guardian, you had to choose it yourself. Then Ruganzu took it upon himself to defend the kingdom.
As Umutabazi or a guardian, he set out, leaving his mother and uncle in confusion.
Nyakanga, realizing she is not ready to lose both her husband and her child, sent messengers to stop him, but Ruganzu crossed the torch they carried, declaring,
Umusindi arenze akarwa, which means
a drunkard has passed the island. His words echoed with the finality of a man who would not turn back. So, Ruganzu continued his expeditions, but as he traveled through Buganza, hunting wild animals, he awaited the time when his wife would give birth, for he had no child to inherit the throne. He had gone as a guardian while still a young man. One night, a leopard appeared and stood atop the fence of the household where he was staying. He came out with his bow and shot it with a single arrow. The next day, they skinned the leopard and stretched out its hide. Ruganzu stayed there for some days. The hill was called
Tabirago. Later, Murukumbi, his uncle, who have refused to serve as a guardian, arrived and said,
I have come to surrender myself, for I have sinned. Now I come to fight for the kingdom. Ruganzu replied, 1,000 reigns will pass before the Abasinga ever produce a king again.
Murukumbi
Turned back and went home. It is said that he passed through Ndolwa. That was the end of the Abasinga's rule over the kingdom. As you can it to this list of all Rwandan queen mothers, Nyira Ruganzu I, mother of Ruganzu I, is the last queen mother to come from Abasinga clan. The next morning, Sienge arrived with important news. As soon as he appeared, Ruganzu asked, Do my hills of Kayanga and Karagari still stand? Do my hills of Rutunga and Gasabo still remain? Are my lands of Gisasa and Bumbogo, Gikaka and Gikomero, those between Bwanachambwe and Buganza, still at peace? The lands from which the Abasinga cast me out, though I had not yet ruled them to my heart's content? Sienge nodded. Yes, all are still there, and they remain at peace. Ruganzu continued, And what of my wife, Nyakiyaga? She is well, Sienge replied, and she has given birth to a son. Ruganzu's face brightened. Then we are truly blessed by God. We have found a cradle for him. He handed over a leopard skin and said, Here is his cradle. And from this day on, he shall be named Rugwe. The name Rugwe came from the word Ingwe, meaning leopard, a symbol of strength, cunning, and kingship. This child would later become the first to expand his kingdom through war. He would also establish Rwanda's Ubudehe class system, becoming the first to create the Tutsi, Hutu, and Twa divisions to better understand the wealth and power of his people, enabling him to strengthen and improve his kingdom. However, centuries later, European colonizers would distort what he had created for the kingdom's betterment, turning it into a tool of division that ultimately contributed to the tragic genocide against the Tutsi. Ruganzu then ordered Gitandura to officiate the naming ceremony, following the sacred traditions of the royal lineage. From that moment, the custom was established. Before a future king was given his final name, he would first be named within the royal household. This tradition has endured to this very day. At dawn, the royal council gathered. Ruganzu I declared that Sienge would rule Rwanda as his regent until Rugwe came of age. He feared that his enemies might try to kill the child and prevent him from taking the throne.
he assigned Nyaruhungura Mutsobe and Gitandura Cyakingari
as royal advisors, ensuring that Rugwe's claim to the throne would be recognized. Nyakiyaga, Rugwe's mother, was placed under the protection of Mwendo, the son of Nsoro, who was Ruganzu's own half-brother. As the meeting concluded, they noticed a soldier hiding in the tall grass, eavesdropping on their conversation. Some wanted to kill him, fearing that he had overheard their secrets, but Ruganzu stopped them. No, he said, let him live. He is not to be blamed. Instead, he will serve as a witness to what he has heard today. He ordered that the man be sworn to secrecy through an ancient ritual. A sacred iron blade was pressed against his forehead, marking him forever. Take this blade with you, Ruganzu told him. If ever you are called to testify, you will show this mark. Let the world know that what was spoken here was not invented. With that, Ruganzu and his men set out once more. As they reached Buganza, near Munyaga, they crossed into the kingdom of Gisaka, which still lay within the broader Buganza region. There, they devised a final act of defiance. The people of Gisaka were out on a great hunt, unaware that an enemy had entered their land. Ruganzu and his warriors knew the hunting rule. The animal belonged to the one who startled it first. But they rejected this rule on purpose, creating a dispute that would lead to battle. It was a deliberate provocation. Ruganzu had come to die on Gisaka's soil. Unaware of who he truly was, the Gisakans attacked. In the chaos, Ruganzu fell. If they had known he was an Ubutabazi, a guardian of Rwanda, they would never have taken his life, for a guardian revealed in foreign land could not be slain there, but fate had already been sealed. Ruganzu I, the warrior king, breathed his last breath on the battlefield, guarding his kingdom. The place where he fell
Mungu na munyaga.
became a sacred site. A tree
Naona azunguruka wa murumbi.
grew there, marking the land where a great king had fallen and where the news of his death shook the kingdom to its core. When Kimenyi received the news, he went to comfort Robwa. He brought her his royal drum, Rukarura, and placed it before her, saying, "We have both suffered a great tragedy. Ruganzu has died, killed by hunters who did not know it was him. Now, here is my gift to you, my royal drum, Rukarura. It is yours to keep, and since Ruganzu left no heir, if you wish, you may go and claim the throne of Rwanda. I will help you remove those who are not of Ruganzu's bloodline." The moment Kimenyi said these words, Robwa, overcome with grief, leaped from where she was seated and slammed her belly onto the wooden base of the drum, Rukarura. As she was already heavily pregnant, the impact caused her to miscarry, and she died instantly. She was buried in a cave in Bwiriri, which later became home to a swarm of bees. Thus, Robwa and her brother Ruganzu I were laid to rest together, marking the end of their era. Rwanda was then ruled by Tsienge, as had been previously decided. The reign of Ruganzu I left an indelible mark on the history of Rwanda, shaping the kingdom in ways that would echo through generations. One of the most significant changes during his rule was the fall of the Abasinga dynasty. The removal of this dynasty from power was not a random event, but rather a part of Ruganzu's structured vision for the kingdom. It was a deliberate decision, one made with the future of Rwanda in mind. The saying,
Umusindi yarenze akarwa.
translated as "a drunkard has gone beyond the island," became linked with Ruganzu's legacy. Though its exact meaning remains debated, it speaks to the idea of crossing a dangerous boundary with no turning back. Much like Ruganzu's tragic end, it symbolizes someone who has ventured too far, beyond the point of return. If you have made it here so far, it means that you are truly determined to learning Rwandan history, and you are truly growing and keeping the heritage alive. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Rwandan heritage / mythology, keeping the heritage alive.